Hey everyone, this is Jamie, and today I'm gonna touch on a different subject. And I'm sorry about the noise. If there is any noise, it's my dog. So everyone can relate to having a dog for the next 10 minutes, which is pretty much being prepared for the unpredictable. So today I'm gonna talk about trans women, and I thought about this because it was something I wanted to do for quite a while, touch on the subject, but I felt like I didn't have all my thoughts completely ready. So instead, I actually wrote like a short story and did all my notes there. So I will be looking a bit into the screen to make sure that I get all my points across. And over the years, obviously, being in the trans community, I've met a lot of different trans women. I mean, just like any guy is different, and everyone's different. And I've had good experiences, bad experiences. I've had backstabbers. I've had um trans women who I still remember, even though we're no longer in contact because I had to cut off many people as I was moving. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to talk about cross-dressing, trans women, drag queens. And I'm really sorry, I know it's like I'm not bundling, but I wanted to discuss instead of a trans male side, on, about a trans male topic. I want to talk about trans women and give them the spotlight. So what I wanted to say was it's terrible how much society pressures them. It's like you have to be in this box. There's a lot of discussion about whether they should keep their genitalia or not. I'm sorry, this is triggering. And there's a lot of misconceptions about operations. There's a lot of terminology out there which is slurs. There's a lot of confusion. There's a whole debate about whether trans women should be on Grindr or not. And there's obviously the TERFs, which attack mostly the trans women. I'm not saying they don't attack trans men, come on. We all get attacked by TERFs at the end of the day. But yeah, but I feel like they have it really hard. And specifically, like, because I like to cross dress sometimes, I kind of. It made me discover properly an entirely different community. Because I remember the days when it was considered that cross dressing is bad, and now we're kind of moving towards a more open minded where people can cross dress as well. And understand that not to switch the topic towards me entirely, but being a trans guy and cross dressing at times kind of raises a few eyebrows. But you know, so there's always this definition. It's like they walk around and like I get compliments. Like, well, for a trans woman to pass is much harder from what it's seen. And whenever the representative is picked for trans women or trans people in general, they always choose a very, very cis-passing trans woman, which kind of gives you the wrong idea and wrong expectations. Or if you go like to porn, it's completely different. Like there's this desire to show something else, and no one addresses something which I think was addressed once in a TLC TV show which I saw. No one addresses too much, from what I see. The fact how terribly, obnoxiously ridiculous the wives of trans women are. I mean, if they start off, the trans woman doesn't come out yet or doesn't know that they're trans. Anyway, there are different situations. And then, like, for instance, the wife does a funeral for the fallen husband, whatever. Or even the Caitlyn Jenner situation, which was really harsh. People tend to judge trans women a lot. So there's the wife, the mourning, there's a lot of expectations, like tucking. Like when it comes to trans men, I feel like we're more liberal about that. But there's all these kind of theories of like cross-dressing is bad, cross-dressing is good, tucking is bad, operations are good, operations are bad, and they all really contrast. And also there's the trans women which themselves become really radical. But there's the whole fetish situation, which is much more higher or much more talked about. There's the death rates and the visibility. Also, I wanted to address this, but like why I mentioned drag queens in the beginning, it was specifically about RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, I love it as much as everyone else does, but Jesus, some out there have so many gender issues. Like, I understand that it is not my place to say, hey, you're a trans woman. But sometimes I just look and I'm like, okay, so you do everything as a woman. And everyone's like, yes, get it. And then if she decides to transition, she gets like shunned. And the whole situation with fishy queens acting horrendously bitchy if someone's fishier. And it's just an overall mess. Or like in the season, RuPaul had everyone sing a very, very interesting choice of a song, which I think would be more applicable towards a trans experience rather than a drag queen's experience. But it's just that I feel like because of all of this pressure, trans women end up pressuring themselves, obviously. And on the opposite, I think there should be more support. There should be more understanding. And because we don't know this, or we don't try to understand what's really happening, we kind of alienate ourselves from trans women. I mean, like the LGBT community. And once you just scrap a little layer, you just reveal this massive insecurity. I'm not saying it's everyone, but I'm just saying there are so many problems. And it's really sad. And there's the constant competition. There's also the notion that you're a cross-dresser until you have surgery. And everything is about genitals. Everything. I know that we have that with trans men as well, but I feel like it leaks on into everyone's brain at that time because everyone's just so pressured and you don't even know where it even started. Okay, fine, start by the source. But anyway, that's not the point. I kind of just wanted to raise awareness to talk about something else, something from what I've seen from talking to numerous trans women, and I understand that I am a trans guy. Yes, I cross dress, but that's about it. I just want to raise awareness. So you need to understand that just like any other person has their own problems, any trans person has their own problems. And just by supporting, you can make someone's day. Anyway, this was me, and thank you.